what's up, my true seekers? How are you doing? Welcome to my podcast, Real Talk with your girl, Lady Dee. Well, guys, I have gotten Abby again. My sister, she is very in tune when it comes to her spirituality, where you have no other choice, but to go ahead and tap in. So I went ahead and I asked my sister to come back on and, share some of that knowledge. And when I'm telling you, my sister, she is full. And as you can see right here, she has the information. And I pray, guys, when you all listen to Abby, listen to her again, that it does not go over your head, because I truly believe this is where we are today. I asked her to come back to share more of her knowledge, especially when it comes to our people. We talked about just about everything, especially when it comes to how our people is still what we call suffering from Stockholm syndrome. And we're going to talk more about that. And also when it comes to identity crisis, it is bad, especially in our community. We got our people mimicking and idolizing all these celebrities and all these people out there that's trying to send out this false image. These people are getting paid. They are a brand. So let me go ahead and let Abby let her reintroduce herself. So before I start the video, guys, make sure you go ahead and hit like, comment, and share these videos for more unapologetic content.
Yes, thank you very much for having me again. Happy to be here on Real Talk with Lady Dee. I appreciate it. I'll make myself available anytime you need me to be on your show.
Thank you.
You do know that I let Sonini, the creator, guide me in all things that is to do with his Bantu people and the awakening. So I make my vessel available for any opportunity that he deem righteous or fit for me to participate in. So thank you again for having me, and I pray that your channel grow. I pray that the message is reach in the depths of each and every one of our soul, and that from that we can rebuild, we can restore, we can reclaim, and we can remember the former things before we fell from grace.
Absolutely. Yes. Abby, what I need you to do is, the ones that haven't, saw the very first video that you and I made together, you should just let them know a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So I grew up on the island of Jamaica. I grew up, my mother's side of the family are religious. They own their own church. They're Christians. My father's side is predominantly Rastafarian. So we grew up Rastafarian, just to keep it simple. And throughout my life, the big question sign was always there about the state of the earth, the state of the Black people. I'm going to use Black. I don't like using it, but I'll use it so persons understand what I'm saying, and the truth about the Creator. So even though I went about my life, and then in 2019. Summer of 2019, my mother invited me to church. I went, and then I had a trip to the Philippines. And when I returned, I got baptized in the church. I spent not a lengthy time there because in the summer of 2020, I came to the US to visit my sister, and I decided to migrate, and that is when my true journey starts in seeking and finding the true Creator. And that is when everything that has been hidden have fallen away. Everything that was pulled over my eyes, that went away, and now I can actually see truth, feel truth, taste truth when it comes. So even if there isn't like a scientific evidence, even if there isn't any form of physical evidence that, people always want physical evidence to prove everything. I know in my spirit, because of the gift that I've been given, that truth is truth without any of that. Because if we rely on physical evidence for truth, then you will only receive lies, because the physical evidence has been doctored for centuries, and no evidence that is out there can be deemed as truth just because of who is in control, or who mold it, who write it, who rewrite it. So it's not a reliable source. So now we have to look within, and looking within means you're looking to the creator. And if you don't know who the true creator is, if you don't know where the true holy land is, if you don't know who the true holy people is, then you cannot get that door open to even be able to have access to that truth, or to even have access to the creator. So that's a synopsis. I had a very successful career when I was in Jamaica, but the spirit of Sonini moved me, because he was saying, it's time for you to know who I am, and I need to take you away from the noise of your life so that you can know who I am. And yeah, I now live in Texas. So yeah, that's a quick synopsis. And I just let Sunny guide me. There's such a big vision, there's such a big plan that he has, that I've seen with my own two eyes, that is going to take the entire earth by storm. And it's not going to be done by one individual, it's going to be done by everyone, and everyone is going to come with their bit of the truth that he allow them to see, and put it together like a puzzle. And that's when this entire earth is going to complete its shift, and we're going to turn back to the right direction, where we are of a higher frequency, and we are truly connected.
Well, let me go ahead and see if I can go ahead and jump in, because I don't want to bypass this. I want to make sure that I get all this right here, because I like the part where you said that this is not going to be just one man, like everybody just waiting for that one Messiah to just pop out of the sky, but it's going to be all of us when we come together on one accord. That's the one that he's talking about, but everybody is waiting for that one individual, and that's could be the reason why we have a lot of jokers out there, saying that they are the Messiah, but the Most High God, is not going to share his glory with no anyone, especially those that are out there exalting themselves, because that's exactly what they are doing. And most likely that's why the sheep are scattered abroad. So can you talk more about how this right here is not going to be a one man show?
Yes, 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 my queen sister. So the minute, remember, okay, so the awakening is happening. It has been happening for decades, but it was like at a creeping stage then. Very few people, and the explosion happened at the height of COVID, when the mass, more of us, uh, become awoken. Now, with that, you're going to have the wicked trying to suppress that, and trying to deny it, and try to make it seem not credible, right? And part of what will cause that is that some of us will wake up and feel as if, okay, I'm the Messiah, because they got a glimpse into the truth, they got a glimpse into the light, and they're so overwhelmed by it that they now think this is about them. They now think that they are the one, or the only one that has it correct, or they have the entire picture, when that's not true. So they exalt themselves, and they make a fool of themselves. And that's only putting yourself back to sleep, when your focus is now on, oh, I'm the Messiah, or I'm the chosen one, or I'm the solely called person for this. And then that's a disappointment to Sonini, to the creator, to the almighty of the earth. It's a big
Mhm.
disappointment. And even though he knew the spirit that would have come upon you, you because the fact that you're going to be now all about your ego and thinking you're the one, then the only job you were assigned was just to do the bit that you did, and that's where it ends for you, because you no longer give Sunny Nanny the glory. You're glorifying yourself, right? You're
Mhm.
thinking a little bit too highly of yourself, because it's an entire body. It's an entire body. It's every single one of us that is awoken that is going to perform the function of the whole body.
Mhm.
It's we all don't have the truth. I do not have the 100% truth that was hidden, right, out there. Some of us may have a little more than the other, but no one has the whole truth, and everyone is called to do a small part of that truth. So, and you will know them by their works. You will know
Absolutely.
them. You will know them by what they say, what they confirm, and how they carry themselves, which is why the elder that I listen to on YouTube is different. He has never claimed to be a messiah or claimed to be anyone in terms of that type of leader, or called in that way to be anything ahead of anyone. The only thing he knows for a fact that he was called for is to wake persons up to who the true creator is, where the Holy Land is, and who the true people are. And that is what he does. And he does it perfectly. And he does it without flaw. And there is no error in him doing that, because he doesn't take away the glory from Sonini Nanini, from the creator, because he knows it has nothing to do with him. He knows he is a vessel, and that is how humble we have to be as individuals, to know that I wouldn't have been awoken today if it wasn't the creator that saw me worthy as one of his children to be awoken to the truth. And I wasn't awoken to identify, even though I knew it in my spirit, because it doesn't matter who has what bit of truth out there. I feel it in my spirit and I connect with it. I was the one called to identify the true holy land, the true holy people, and the true name of the creator. He was, right? And
Mhm.
then from him, other persons were awoken. Not saying there wasn't someone before him, but whoever may have known before him did was either suppressed, didn't get the opportunity. So Sonny and you will always be called in person. So when we get to the place where we think that we are the Messiah, or we are the one called
Mhm.
above others, then that just proves that you are not the Messiah. That's the first thing. The fact that you say it, the fact that you think it, the fact that you feel it, the fact that you act like it simply means you are not. And you're just an open vessel for the wicked to use for their evil deeds. And you're gonna make the focus be on you, and glorify yourself. Because if you were the Messiah, this is the key thing. If you are the Messiah, or if you are the one called, or if you had all truth, then we would have been restored in our original state. We wouldn't have any issues in the world. The earth would have been cleansed and cured. That is what judgment is about. That is what the Armageddon will be about. The minute the
Mhm.
Messiah set foot on this physical plane, all hell is going to break loose.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
What we're living
Absolutely.
in, what we're living in is the end time, the time that is leading up. What you're experiencing is your daughters and sons will be prophesying, right? And
Absolutely.
that is the time we're living in. We have not approached the time where the Messiah is here as yet, right?
Mhm.
If he is even walking here on this earth, which I doubt he is, he's not going to be down here just relaxing and waiting. He's going to come forth when it is time for the judgment, when it is time for that major war against good and evil, right? So,
Absolutely.
right. So there is no one right now that is the Messiah. It doesn't matter who you are, who you claim to be. right? You are just an agent. You can claim to be a John the Baptist. That's all any of us can claim to be, is to claim to be one of the John the Baptists who is paving the way for the Messiah. You are nothing
Wow.
more than that. When the
That's
Messiah come, all things will be restored. There will be it's going to be a earth-wide war, and it's not going to be a war of nations against nations, right? That is what is going to happen now. That's what we're going to live through now. But the war that is coming will be a spiritual war. We're going to be seeing things that's going to shake us to our core, that we're going to be so terrified. Persons are going to be running into cave, hiding, trying to find death, and it will not find them. We're going to be seeing these demons, these nothing's going to be hidden anymore. You're going to be seeing angels, you're going to see demons, you're going to see things fighting in plain daylight. It's going to be like a horror movie. And that is when the Messiah is going to be here. He's not going to be here, and he's not going to be on any YouTube. He's not going to be on any TikTok. When he speaks, the entire earth is going to be here, and he doesn't need any social media to spread any word.
Wow, this is a lot, you guys. I told you, this right here, this is it. So we cannot get ready. We have to be ready because, see, we looking at, especially when it comes to how we see people trying to read these Bible scriptures, and they're not putting it together. Like I say, this is like a puzzle, but it's not hidden. It's only hidden to those that are lost. This is a spiritual warfare that we are about to go in, and what you are reading is only a glimpse. We're about to go through all this stuff right here. So when you seen all this stuff that is happening, especially when it comes to Israel and the Palestine, it's going to be just like that. These people most likely was going about their day, to work and, doing normal things. And all of a sudden, what happened? Bombs was dropped over their head. And that's exactly how it's going to happen when the second coming. That's why, I tell everybody, and that's also Bible scripture, don't get ready, be ready, because you never know when all this stuff is going to take place, when it's going to unfold, because we know that we have a lot of crafty counselors where they wants to use the name of God, saying that God said, when we know that God did not call these people. These people have called themselves, and that's the reason why they are fighting with everybody today, because they wants to use that God said it when God has nothing to do with all this.
That is because after 400 years of slavery with the European and 1400 with the Arab, not to mention the hidden Asian slavery that went on in the background throughout all of this. After that period of time, we have become so afraid, so submissive um, to the ideals of these alien races that walk among us. It's we are suffering Stockholm syndrome, right?
Wow.
So they make sure and it's not by accident, it was intentional. Throughout those years of slavery, oppression, colonization, wars, throughout that time, they ensure that there was a divide created among us, where you have the house slave, you have the field slave. The field slaves are the one that is most likely to be the ones waking up and the ones that are trying to pull us out of our own downfall. The house slave, being that they don't have to suffer the burning sun and the picking of the cotton, they're inside the house of the slave master, cleaning, making tea, and so forth, and they feel so comfortable being the chosen Negro to be in the house of the oppressor. They don't want that to end, right? So they are suffering a much more deep rooted Stockholm syndrome, where they actually believe the lies that they are being fed, believe the fantasy that they're living. So anything that threatens that, they're going to tear it down. So now our oppressors, our slave masters, the aliens that are walking among us, no longer have to even break a sweat or worry about the things
Yes.
that we do in uprising. They know the lap dogs, the house slave, the little pets that they have among us that looks like us, act like us, and share the same DNA as us will do the job without even being asked. And that is what we are experiencing today with the great divide and the disagreement and the arguments. So now they don't call us racist anymore. Our own call us racist.
Wow. And that's why I say all the time, Massa, he don't have to do anything. All he have to do is just sit in the tree and relax because now it's embedded in our head. So, the question is how are we going to be able to shake off of these grave clothes and come out of her?
Right?
Wow. And I just pray that all this information right here, it just don't go over our people head, because you know how it is when it comes to us. We don't like to think out of the box, but just to know that now we are in the 21st century and the age of information, but yet we are still suffering from Stockholm syndrome. Just look around. Our people are still stuck. They are not ready to come out
We
of
are.
her. And also, let me go ahead and say this because, like I said, this is some good information. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just eating it up. And that's why we have to renew our mind. We got to come out of her. But also, Abiyadi, I like how you broke down that there are two types of slaves. There's the field slave and it's also the house slave. It's like we just not ready to come out. It's time for us to wake up, guys.
Yes. So it's very simple. It's easy for us to explain to someone that okay, this young lady was kidnapped, locked in a basement for 20 years. He raped her, he do her all type of things, and now that she's rescued, she still feel attached to him. She may claim she love him. She may not want him to go to prison or anything of the sort. It's the very same. It's easy to for persons to see that, comprehend that, and feel for a victim of that sort. But the minute you turn around and apply that to our situation, they say no, it's a lie. That is not true, because because they are in it, they're living it, they're suffering the disease, they're the victim of it. They can't see it, right? Because if they did see it, then they would not have this emotion of feeling connected to their oppressor. And I don't know why we feel that after thousands of years of abuse, colonization, that Stockholm syndrome would not be the default state that we're in.
So, not to cut you off, but what you are saying is that we don't realize that we are stuck into this Stockholm syndrome. Is that what you're saying, Abiyadi?
Right, we don't realize what we're doing. It's just like someone being kidnapped and grow attached to their kidnapper, and they're crying for their release, or they're claiming that they didn't hurt them and that they love them and that they did it for them and they were good to them. It's the very same thing that we are doing. We're suffering it. You can't go to that victim and say, you're ill, you're suffering from Stockholm syndrome, why you're acting like this. They won't see it, because to them, their emotions are true, their feelings are real. The experience they have wasn't completely abused around the clock. The person manipulated them. They were good to them. They fed them. They clothed them. If they were a if they behaved well, then they were given freedom to roam throughout the house. Whatever. It's the same thing like us. We are given civil rights, right? We don't even have human rights to this day. What we have is civil rights according to the Fourth Amendment. It's not human rights. So the other races have human rights. We have civil rights, but because we have that small freedom, right? We use that and crave, latch on to our oppressor, and we'll cry for them, we'll beg for them. Will those of us who fight against them and their oppressive behavior, those that are in the Stockholm syndrome state, will want to even kill their own brothers and sisters
Wow.
against it. That is how terrible. We have the worst state of Stockholm syndrome that is ever existed on earth. No kidnap or
Wow.
rape victim or victim of war have been through that level of Stockholm syndrome as we have been. Because even though slavery supposedly ended hundreds of years ago, we are still manifesting that Stockholm syndrome. We have not addressed our psychological state to get ourselves to wake up from it. So we're still doing it to this very day.
Oh my God. And that's why we are stuck. We just can't shake it off when it comes to this generation. And like I always say, the system is not messed up. The system is doing exactly what the system is designed to do. Come on, guys. It's time for us to
That
rise.
is correct. And the sad part of this, the most sad part of this is that in the awakening or in the uprising in the raising of our frequency and our vibration, we will have to shake off a lot of our brothers and sisters and let them be with these slave masters, with the oppressors. We will try to pull them up with us, but they will be dragging us down with them. And when we realize that is happening, we have to be strong enough, right, where we let go, right, and let them fall over the cliff with their
Wow.
slave master, because the judgment is upon them. They will fall. The sun will be heating up more and more. When they speak about hell, hell is not like you're going somewhere else for hell. Hell will be here on earth. And the only reason why it's called hell is because there are persons here that cannot stand the sun. And the intensifying of the sun in the near future is what is going to cause them to burn in hell, literally here on earth.
Well, I mean, this is a lot, and I'm keep stopping you because I don't want to miss nothing. I don't want it to go over our people head. But you are absolutely right. Especially how we hate the sun, and you also said that we going to be caught up in it as well because we don't want to come out of her. Not knowing that we are connected to that sun. So, as you can see right here, this is deep because it's happening to us right now. The things that we hate, they going to tell us that because it hate them. Look how they have to come outside. We don't have to go outside with all that lotion and all that other protection. They're going to say, oh, we need it. But no, our melanin, it protects us from the UV light, which is why we don't even want to go outside, and be connected to nature, which that's who we are. And that's why I always say, this is only for the remnant. It's not going to be for everybody. And the way that you went ahead and broke it down, that many is not going to be able to go. So like I said, all this right here is Bible prophecies. So continue with it, my sister.
That is correct, my sister. It's Stockholm syndrome. That is a psychological um, term for what we are going through and what we are manifesting in our own self destruction. And yes, it's a remnant. When you say remnant, persons will think that, oh, that sounds like it's going to be 10, 20, 100, maybe a
Mhm.
thousand. A remnant of us can be millions.
So you don't believe that it's just going to be only 144,000? What the Book of Revelation is talking about? Do you think that many people is going to catch on to this new movement, and hear the calling? Because as you can see right here, we got a lot of silly sheeps that like dipping and dabbing in the things of the world. And that's why always quote the scripture, that many are called but few are chosen, because not many going to be able to hear the calling. They're going to still be stuck into what they are in today, and that's the things of this world.
You're right. So that 144,000 is symbolic. It's not the exact number, but
Hmm.
it would be the minimum that would be crossing over. It will not be less than that amount because we're billions. Do not follow what the worldometers say about the number of um, blacks in the earth. We are billions upon billions. That 8 billion population on the earth that they claim, that is not true, right? That's
Hmm.
just the numbers that they decide to report on, right? We are billions. So when you say a remnant of us, a remnant of us will be millions just the same. It can be millions, right? Because we are so much, a remnant of us can be 1 million, it can be 2 million because there's billions of us. But it's still sad because a remnant of us mean that there is still billions of us that will perish.
If your ultimate goal is to be famous, then you're gonna do a lot to get there, like sign your name in blood in a
to perish.